I am sure sports. You know me there, from coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get your sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know the game play, that me not say it. If me never seen a game, me not know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you are gonna love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crapper players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment. Let me know what your thoughts are.
Trick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices. Add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
Good evening, and happy Sunday to you. Hope you're having a wonderful day. It's raining where I'm at right now. People normally say it's raining on the outside, but I don't normally use that term because it doesn't rain on the inside unless you have some serious leaks. And if it is raining on the inside, you're really actually outside. So it is raining in my present location. As usual, I always want to start my videos by encouraging all of us to take a little time out of our busy schedules to give thanks for the gift of life, that we are alive and well, and we have life and we have our being, right? And we still have the possibility of making our lives better by the decisions that we make. If you want to change your life, change your mind. If you want to change your mind, that begins by what you put on the inside. Because garbage in, garbage will come out. Aspire to be better in every area of your life. Aspire to be better mentally, to be better emotionally, to be better spiritually. You always have opportunities to grow every day, right? Not just grow old, but grow in maturity and in your understanding and appreciation of this gift of life. And so make the most of it. Also seek for opportunities to add value to people's life. Make others' life better, that you will leave a lasting legacy. That when you're gone, the legacy of your life would have made an indelible mark on the hearts of many. So live beyond you. Leave something behind your time here on planet Earth. I am Maninsman, and this is I Am Sure Sports. Want to say a big thank you to all our viewers and subscribers. We continue to steadily grow and improve in terms of the quality of our program and our product. And you have certainly played a pivotal role in promoting and advertising and sharing that. And we are extremely delighted to have you as part of our I Am Sure brand and family. We look forward to even greater times and bigger times going forward. It is love for the love. We have nothing but the highest level of respect for you all. And so I want to encourage you that as we interact today, please do so respectfully. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to not like something, or even it's okay to not like someone. That's okay. But we must be able to communicate in a cordial way and in a way that don't seem to demean others, with a with the thought of esteeming our own selves or others above them. All right, so let's seek to do that, not just on my platform, but whatever platform you interact with as you traverse the social media platforms that are plentiful in the island shores of Jamaica. Big thank you to the sponsors of this video. Our sponsors for today's video are Prestige Finance, lending a helping hand when you need it the most. Prestige Finance is located in Linstead, St. Catherine, Jamaica, and they're offering you loans of up to 100,000 Jamaican dollars. There is no processing fee, same day processing, and 0 to 4% interest rate. All you have to do is give them a call at 876-884-7390. Someone will be on the phone line to respond to you, and they will be able to help you in securing that loan that I know you are looking for. Also want to say a big thank you as well to Launch Legacy. Launch Legacy is where they handle risk and they seek legacy for all your personal insurance needs in Canada and the USA. You can visit Launch Legacy at launchlegacy.com, or you can call them at 647-989-0782. Launch Legacy is that place that when you stop working for money, Launch Legacy will cause your money to start working for you. Big up to RR in the building. I see Fresh God. Javon Wilson is also here. See, Jason was the first man in. Big up yourself, you understand me? Grand Spin, I no play a pen, you understand me? King Jav, the man from South, says lots of fire right there. And True Blue, the man from Z Blue of Jamaica College, is in the building as well. Lots of love to you all. Thank you for being here. Well, today we will be having a conversation with Mr. Dennis Chung. As you know, Mr. Dennis Chung recently was appointed the General Secretary for the Jamaica Football Federation, a position that was left vacant as Mr. Dalton Wint, as you know, at the request of the Reggae Boys. Was relieved of that position as he resigned, and so it was vacant for a while, and then Mr. Dennis Chung has come on, and he has vast array of expertise in this field, that has worked in many big organization across Jamaica in even bigger capacity than being General Secretary for the Jamaica Football Federation. But he has brought his talent here to the Jamaica Football Federation, one of the new faces within the JFF as they seek to change their face, their perception amongst the populace, hoping to attract new sponsors and to bring the sport forward on the island shore of Jamaica. He will be here with us to have a conversation with us. And in particular, we want to speak to matters concerning our Reggae Girlz, the World Cup for men, and the schoolboy football. Those things have basically limited the opportunities we have had to focus on some needs within the Reggae Girlz uh, uh, football team, and specifically as it relates to their participation in the World Cup. As you know, they have already qualified, and there is a tremendous financial burden that needs to be lifted in order for them to play well and to give them all the comfort that they need. Though people are projecting it to be a very difficult zone, I think if we can get them everything that they need, and the right players are selected and they are comfortable, including salaries and how they are treated, proper travel plans and meals. And I believe if those things are done, then they could spring a surprise in this World Cup and may even come out of their zone. For some people, that seems to be an impossibility, but we believe in the possibilities that exist. All right. So we are going to be talking to him, and I know when we initially had our first, our dialogue heading into this discussion, that there is an option that you are going to have where you can partner with the Reggae Girlz by giving directly to the World Cup. I want you to know this, whatever is given, and they're going to tell you how you can do that. So not just big and major companies, but you as an individual can give a contribution towards the program, because like I said, there is fee for help, of course, but there is a major financial burden that it needs to be dealt with and to be covered with. So I hope that as we have this discussion in this uh, meeting, interview today, that some of you will begin to consider how you can partner, how you can contribute to this. In other words, we will begin to put our money where our mouths are. A lot of us will talk and say a whole lot of things, but when it comes on to actually contributing and giving, we may not want to do that. So I hope that we will. All right. So should have started at 6:30, but you know how these things are, technical glitches and difficulties, but we're going to have that. In the JPL games,
You have reached.
for those persons who are JPL fans, Harborview are down 2-0 to Waterhouse. Two good goals. I think the Howell brothers are the persons who scored for Waterhouse in that game. Vere and Chapelton had a drawn game in one of the earlier games today. Malines, Ramon Howell and Kenroy Howell, one in the 11th, one in the 18th minute. Dunby Holden defeated Mobile United by 2-0. One goal was scored by Stephen Williams, and the other was a own goal. Chapelton Maroons and Vere United played to a 0-0 draw. Tivoli Gardens and Portmore also played to a 0-0 draw, while the Falkland and Malines game ended 2-2. That game was played in Montego Bay. All right. And so those are some of the things you need to do. Big up to those of you who have just come on to the stream. Man like Horace Holmes, bless up yourself. All right. John Powell. You understand me? Every time I see that name, I don't know why, but my mind goes to Colin Powell or Colin Powell. Some will say, Chris Wayne up and running. He says, I am sure Sports Start to GoFundMe and we can contribute through that. I think there's something, that is why Mr. Chung is going to be on today, because there is a place and a thing already set up. So instead of starting something new, there's a way where it's transparent and can be done, and we are going to discuss that. If Chung see this comment, just to let you know, you need to get out. If Chung see this comment, just Giovanni Mills, you know what I'd love for you to do one day, because it's okay for you to have those views, but you have to be able to explain how you come by that conclusion. It'll be interesting to hear your thoughts and reasoning behind your comments. So you're saying that if he sees your comment, get rid of Rudolph Speed, and I'm trying to figure out why would you suggest that they get rid of him? All right. So sometimes typing is not enough. We need we need to hear actual reasons supported by facts to say this is why. That are of course very valid, and just don't make outlandish statements without without substantive information to support them. And I will say to the people, listen, every person in life deserves chances. And what I mean by that is when you begin to see change, you be a part of the solution. And rightly so, when things are not going the way that they ought to, get critical. But too often in our country, when we see change happening, sometimes the very people who advocate for change are the same people who try to shoot it down. And so we must be very careful that we don't get to that place where we are venting and spilling a lot of negativity when the things that we are proposing are not driven to solve the problems that we are facing. And so we have to remember that. We have to remember that criticism is good, but when we begin to see changes, we have to allow them to take their course and see if they are going in the right direction and see if adjustments are being made. And when we don't see that, but we have to give things time. Rome wasn't built in a day, and our football, you would have heard from my channel people speaking about from in the 60s, the kind of administrative issues that we were having. Right here on this platform, they said it, that there has been a string of poor administrative decisions concerning our football. Now, this is over 40 years of problems. There's no way they can be fixed in 6 years or 4 years. It's going to take over time. And one administration may start it, but here's the thing, there is a next administration that can finish it. But when you begin to see change, right, you have to fix that. All right, like I said, Javon Mills, that like I said, that statement that you made don't make any sense because there's no Cavalier player with the exception of Richard King in the national team. Richard King is the only player from Cavalier in the national team. And when last have he even played a game? There is no other Cavalier player. So that's what I'm saying, that you have to have facts to support what you're saying here. But that's not what we're talking about today either. But out of respect for you, I'll venture into doing that. And I'm not saying to you he's not supposed to be moved. But what I'll say to you is that the only Cavalier player that presently plays for the senior team is Richard King. No other. And remember, Richard King got into this national team by luck. By luck. Yeah, man. Big up Brown Man Security. Yeah, man. 33. Good son. Bless up yourself. Still waiting on our guest to join. I'm going to make one more contact with him. He's normally a very on time person. So let's just tie this down. See 3-0 here. Denver Gray scoring. Oh, Waterhouse putting a beating on on the defending champions. Oh my word. All right, so let's see if we can tie this down for your people. Big up yourself, Miguel, up and running. So our guest will be here in a minute or so. So stay tuned, right? But let's focus on what? We're going to stick to the discussion. But sometimes out of respect, I'll take the comments of my of my comment section. Miguel says, man, the length of time the problem lasts does not dictate the period of time it will take to solve it, sir. No, I didn't say I didn't say the same time. I'm not suggesting that if something is a 10-year problem, it takes 10 years to fix it. What I will say to you, though, it's highly unlikely that you can have a 50-year problem and fix it in one day. That's the bigger point I'm making, Miguel. I totally agree with you. Something that is 60 years and where they are entrenched and cultures and practices cannot be fixed in 1 year or 5 years. And that's my opinion. They, especially something that is based on systems and practices. Because to build consistent systems and to create cultures that take time. That is just what I know as a fact. It doesn't happen overnight. It's just like many problems in our country will not be fixed by any one administration over any one period of time. It takes consistent implementation of systems and get people to practice those with strong adherent to the system over a long period of time for them to become our new cultures and practices. So there you go. But we have our very special guest this evening, Mr. Dennis Chung. Telling you he was having a little problem connecting, and I know why. He has moved into what do you call it now, a suite. You understand? Too expensive for us to afford. So of course, he would not. Mr. Chung,
Yeah, man.
um,
How you
good.
doing? Yeah, sorry about that, man. But you know it go.
Yeah, man. Listen, you have to get a different shirt. You're wearing the wrong brand right now. It's the
Yeah.
right color, right
Yeah.
logo, but it should be some stripes. You
It
understand
should
what I mean?
yeah.
But
Well,
welcome
next
to the
month, man. Next month.
next month. All right. So
Yes.
we're going to talk a little bit about that because people are so anxious. But again, thank you for making yourself available to be on the platform. Always
Yeah.
appreciate your company and your time. And we hope we can have a very wholesome discussion that will provide solutions and give the footballing public and fans the opportunity to become even more engaged in the process of change that we are witnessing before our eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let me begin with where we want to. Well, first thing is that how has it been for you? I mean, a little bit over a month now since you have been in this new
Well, it's a little over 2 months.
2 months, right?
Yeah, it
How has it
feel
been?
like
Have
two
you
years.
stopped? I'm telling you. So tell us what those first 2 months have been like for you.
Well, I mean, what it was is really just, assessing everything that's there. I had the advantage of being on the board before. Um, and just ensuring that certain things are in place. So some significant things, for example, would have had Congress, would have completed our budget for 2023. Um, we would have passed the new constitution, you know, put certain things in place internally from an infrastructure point of view. We launched the Women's Premier League, you know. We got the new coach coming on, so we had to be looking at all of that. Um, and, we're in Qatar, went to the FIFA summit, which that was work in itself. So it has been quite a busy 2 months. I mean, there are certain things you put in place from a staffing point of view. Make sure that our sponsors are okay. Make some contacts. And make some contacts with some people who, hopefully by this week or next week, we're going to have two major announcements, two people joining us. Well-known persons.
In terms of staff or sponsorship.
In terms of staff,
Okay.
right, and,
Okay.
and certainly some sponsors, two sponsors we're looking at also. So it has been a busy period, but it's really just trying to assess the situation and, importantly, repairing some of that damage that we had with the fans and the media. It has been a lot of work engaging the media, engaging the fans, letting people know what's happening. That has been a big thing for us. And I think we've made some progress here. We've been a lot more transparent. As you see, I would have published a GenSec report. And, that include our financial statements audited for 2021. And also the Constitution, So we're trying we're trying to do what we can. It has just been a little over 2 months. So there's not a lot you can do. I mean, obviously we've had to work with FIFA also. FIFA and CONCACAF, who are in a much better place now. They're a lot happier with how things are progressing. They've expressed that, and we're hoping to continue this farm. And ensure that when the Adidas deal comes on, it's a benefit for everybody, including the fans, because we want to make sure that whatever transaction we get into, we understand that the JFF brand and the Reggae Boys and the Reggae Girls, it belongs to Jamaica and Jamaicans. We want to ensure that everyone is happy with it.
Awesome. All right. So, I mean, like I said, there's so much that I've probably like there are 10 things right here: Congress, Constitution, budget, the coach, Women's League, GenSec report, publish, FIFA, CONCACAF, Adidas deal. So that's a whole litany of things that you have worked at. And like I said, it's starting to work because there's no way none of these things would have been like perfect and completed by now. But it is getting, like I said, systems and policies in place from an administrative and that kind of issue. But let me begin with this. You said that the relationship with FIFA is better now.
Much better. Much better. And they have expressed it. They like what is happening now.
Okay, so that's good because we know that there were certain they had established and set up some targets. In other words, that the GFF would have to meet over a period of time, especially on the financial side. So I suspect what you're saying is that even if those things are not met, the place that you're at, it is better, and they appreciate that, which is good. In other words, you have their approval in terms of what is being done right now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So the challenges we were having before, we don't have those anymore. And as I said, they've expressed it. We've tried to do everything in terms of meeting all the deadlines that they needed. There are one or two things, but they're not major things that need to be addressed, some legacy issues. But all of those are being done. And we think that certainly from the financial management point of view, we're going to be in a much better place in 2023.
Awesome. I know you also said that you have completed the budget for 2023, which is one of the things we want to talk about. Are these things, once you have your Congress and meeting with the board of directors, are these things like public documents, or they're not? It's just for your board per se. So someone would not necessarily see the JFF budget on a website. How does it work in country?
The budget will not be public. I mean,
okay.
The budget is our internal thing to guide us.
Okay.
So we wouldn't publicize it. But we do publicize that when the audit is done. We do publish audited financial statements. As I said, we publish the constitution. So those sorts of things. But things that are internal to us,
Right.
we wouldn't publish those things.
So the general football in public can have access to the constitution, the new drafted constitution of the GFF.
Yeah, man. That was sent out to everybody. So that was sent out
Okay.
wide across the media. I don't know if you got a copy of it.
Yeah,
If
man,
not,
I have it. I just want people to know because I don't want, because some people may not have it and think it's our elite people or special group. I just want you to say to them that
yeah, man, it was sent to everybody.
if people want access to it, it is there so they can see and understand how the constitution of the GFF works, right? And okay, all right, awesome, all right. And you said that you had to make arrangements with the coach, the new head coach who is it's official because though he was the official arrangement is actually in January here that the official right. All right, yeah. You can shed any light on that aspect of things.
Yeah, man. He should be here next week, I think. Yeah, in the middle of January, he's going to be here. So he's going to hit the ground running. I mean, he has already started in terms of his assessment and everything, but he's going to be here in the middle of this month. And it's a busy schedule for him because, we have Nations Cup and Gold Cup coming for the men, right? So it's already a busy schedule for him. So he has been doing his assessment. We of course don't get involved in terms of, how he chooses his team or anything like that. What we want is that he needs to be accountable for us for the performance.
Yeah.
But in terms of you can't tell a man what to do and then hold him accountable for what you tell him to do. That don't work like that. Similarly, there are a lot of other things happening. The girls have a camp in Florida this week. They have the Australia tournament. There are a few international windows which we're going to try and fill them, and then the World Cup is in Australia in the summer. There's a camp going on now for the under 17. They just pick a 30-man squad. They're going to Florida, and then from Florida they're going to leave for the under 17 World Cup qualifiers. Guatemala. Yeah. So it's a really busy period. These 6 months coming up is really busy.
All right. Don't want to ignore what is happening with the under 17, but I want to speak to the girl because in October last year, there was an article in the Jamaica Observer where the president, Mr. Ricketts, said that, though he wasn't working with a budget, what it would take to make the girls comfortable would be almost like, I think the article actually says no less than $2 million. I know this was in 2022, which would include all the preparation leading up, all the camps, salaries, everything, coaches, stuff like that. And I know just a few days ago, you did you were interviewed as well, and it came out in the newspaper that there is a US $1 million that is needed for the campaign. So one of the things I want to ask is it that we have found 1 million of the 2 million already, or when the real budget was done, it is really 1 million and not 2 million, or 1 million is the lower end and 2 million is the high end?
Right. That's what it is. I said in excess of $1 million, certainly over $1 million we're going to be needing for the campaign. We have most of that money already. FIFA has helped us with most of that money.
Right, because you did say that in the article, like 400 and I think $20,000 was granted by FIFA towards it.
Yeah. So we have got most of the money from FIFA, and there's a prize money, of course, coming up, which FIFA hasn't decided what the prize money is yet, because there's a prize money to actually qualify for the World Cup.
Oh, the participation money.
Yeah.
Oh, they call it prize money.
Yeah, they call it prize money.
That's interesting.
Because a prize for qualifying.
Oh. Right. Okay.
Yeah. So we have that. We have some money coming from Adidas also.
That goes towards the girls program, or the Adidas money is just general.
The Adidas money is general.
Right, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you also mentioned having 2 sponsors. Possibly coming on board.
Those are coming on also. They're not finalized yet, but they said in January they'll be able to start with us. So we're trying to wrap those up. So 2 sponsors, that should give us a little money also.
All right. So what about the there's a very popular saying in Jamaica: every mickle make a muckle. The truth is, I don't know what mickle is and I don't know what muckle is, but the saying make a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
I've never seen a mickle, I've never seen a muckle, but the saying makes a lot of sense. So what about the persons who may not be able to, do a 200,000 or 10,000 US, but they can, like persons on this platform, like one person was saying, is there a GoFundMe that they could give money to, or
all of those things are going to be set up. One of the announcements that we're trying to make is we're trying to get a well-known person in Jamaica to come on as a marketing consultant. So that contract is basically tied up. So once that person comes on, then you're going to see a lot of those things starting to happen.
Okay. So, I see what you mean. So, but that has to happen like very soon, because you said the girls have a camp, in Florida this week.
Yeah, man. Yeah. They have a camp in Florida this week, and then they go to Australia, next week. So most of those things,
right, for the tournament.
Most of those things would have paid for already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You know how you're sounding though? It sounds like, boy, things are good. You don't really need any money right now. So I
No,
know
no,
that's not
no, 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 that's not true.
so,
That's
so I
not
know that's not
true.
what you're saying. So I want you
Yeah.
to explain to the people what you're saying, because you're saying that everything is paid for already. Right. So
No, no,
explain to the
right, right. So
people.
most of the things, I mean, there are some things we're getting some additional help with, like the Reggae Girlz Foundation. There's a need for a lot of money. Football is a very expensive thing, as you know. Because you're talking about carrying 30 people from all around the world. You know, the flights alone is ridiculous. So it's very expensive. You know, you'd have seen the Qatar World Cup, for example. Qatar, I hear, spent 200 billion US dollars
Billion,
just to
yes.
prepare for it. You know what I mean? It's a very expensive sport. So we're going to set up all of those things. One of the things I always wanted to do, and I said it from early when I was spoke to you, is that I don't want to say to people just give us money for the sake of giving, but I wanted to create the value to show people where we're going. I think we've done that to some extent, repaired some of the damage. The next step now is to say, hey, this is a product that we have, and we are going to go to the people now, and to sponsors generally, and say, hey, this is a product we have. This is a product we want to invest in because we have certain objectives in mind. We'd love, for example, to see the girls pass the first round,
Yeah.
in the World Cup. We'd love to do very well in the Gold Cup. Those things are on train. The under 17 want to qualify for the under 17 World Cup. Of course, the road to 2026 is starting now, and we definitely are very confident that we're going to World Cup in 2026. Based on all that we're doing internally, based on the fact that the number of teams has increased.
Yeah.
There are going to be 48 teams now, 6.5 from CONCACAF, so there are 3.5 spots left, because 3 goes automatically to Mexico, Canada, and the USA. But we think we can definitely qualify for one of those 3.5 spots. So we're putting all the plans in place, and we're going to say to people, we're going to say to the public, hey, this is what we're doing. We are going to give you something to be proud of in terms of football in Jamaica. Already you see also, management, that we have Adidas. There's not been an arrangement with a local sporting fraternity as big as this. Adidas is
Yeah.
one of the 2 big sports brands in the world, between them and Nike. So that's huge. So it shows that we have the brand, saying, hey, we want to work with you. Adidas is working with us. We have people out here also, that are working with us. I always give thanks to Wisinko and Water. They've continued to support us, and therefore I always say to people, buy water, because
WATA.
WTA, yeah, because water continues to support us. I mean, I can tell you, I met with William Afood. He's a great guy, big supporter.
I think he likes football because even I know he's also part of schoolboy football, and they are part of the Premier League as well. So they seem to love football more than probably any other
I
sport.
think,
But go ahead.
I know William very well. He was my president at PSOJ, and he's just that type of person. Very philanthropic. And therefore, when I see his brands, I always support it. I always support water.
Which is what the public needs to know. So the football loving public needs to know some of the companies that are what you call consistent sponsors of the program, like I said, to support those brands as well. Because
man.
the more we support them,
I can tell you over the in November with the Paraguay game.
That's the Reggae Girlz. The games in Montego Bay.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Holiday Inn and Pegasus came on big time. sponsoring our VIP rooms and giving us special rates and that sort of thing. They came on big time. So, those are some of the people that, I said to people, hey, these people are sponsoring reggae, the reggae boys and reggae girls. Go out and support them,
Yeah, definitely.
because,
But and we have someone here saying that they just a couple of things, which is true. It is 6 2/3, two thirds because there are two half spot basically for CONCACAF.
yeah. So we said,
Yeah,
6.5, six and
yeah,
a half,
but
6 and 2/3,
yeah, because it's two half spot
yeah,
basically, which
yeah,
is the next.
yeah,
Yeah, if
yeah,
you get those two, you could have 8 CONCACAF teams
yeah, yeah,
in the World Cup in the CONCACAF, and that would
yeah,
be
yeah,
just like, you
yeah,
know, unprecedented in terms of participation, probably
yeah,
from any
yeah,
other country outside of Europe, in terms of participation. But that is some very very good stuff so we can understand some of these sponsors. Is there any overlap? Because recently I was speaking to um Chris Darren, and he was speak some
yeah,
of the same things they were saying about. He spoke about the 4 P's of marketing, about place and product, and promo and all of that. He spoke about that. But when I hear you speak, is it that, is there any overlap in your roles, or you're just saying it because you're aware of it, but really that is his portfolio, or the
yeah,
general secretary is kind of
yeah.
controls the whole shebang? How
Yeah,
does
well,
it
I have to oversee everything. Yeah. Ultimately,
Okay.
the operations is my responsibility.
Oh, oh,
Chris is chairing the marketing committee for us. I mean,
right.
we couldn't have asked for a better person. And let me tell you something. I talk about sponsors. Ready TV is also a big supporter. Because we have to have transmission internally. So Chris has always come on big time for us. You know, so he comes on as marketing committee now. I mean, what better person you could want as a chair
Yeah.
of your marketing committee? I don't know if you remember, Chris Daring was the man who made the mound at Sabina.
Well,
You know,
he made a mound in cricket.
yeah, in cricket. You know, so it's very exciting, and I mean, the CEO of Caramed is the deputy marketing chair, which is Dennis Grant.
Whoa.
So yeah, we have some big guys, and as I said, the two guys that we're working with now to come on.
Dennis Grant not going to have any time, man. I can
Well,
understand Chris who's in early retirement,
no,
just traveling the whole
no,
world.
no. Well, I think Dennis has expressed an interest. He was the one who said to me, boy, he said to me, Dennis, I want to come on and do something, and I know that,
Whoa,
yeah,
whoa. That is awesome, man.
yeah, man. And as I said, we have two big announcements, two well-known persons that are going to be working with us in the
Well, I think
operation.
somebody has been, there have been some hints about, where one of those banking companies that will be coming from, and I know that person as well. So, if that were to happen, that would be also very significant in terms of leading up the marketing department. But this is some awesome news. The person is also asking, because they are familiar with Trinidad and Tobago football. He says, just to ask Mr. Chung, who pays for the flights to participate in a World Cup? Which would mean, is FIFA
Oh,
responsible for
FIFA,
that?
FIFA pays for it.
Oh,
Yeah,
so how, explain how it works. The JFF books the ticket and then FIFA pays it, or the
yeah,
FIFA
man.
just charter the plane, and then how does it work?
Yeah.
See
So
that you have players coming from all over.
we will work with them in terms of booking it, right? And they will just they'll pay for it.
And that's a general practice for whatever World Cup,
Yeah,
whether
man.
it's
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
senior
So
World Cup, male, female,
yeah, man. Yeah,
junior.
man. Yeah, man. Yeah. So like when myself and the president went to Qatar the other day, FIFA picks up everything, to go to the summit. You know,
Okay.
yeah, and it was a remarkable experience. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's what I was
that's
going to ask you. What does a summit like that entails? Like
why.
what sort of like what do you come away from that to say, wow, like Jamaica need to, or here is what these are the ideas that you come away from that. What does a summit like that?
Well, I mean, you go there and you meet with all of the member associations from around the world that are there, right? So FIFA carries all the member associations, right? And we have a summit for the day and basically speak about FIFA plans. So the president is there,
Oh,
Infantino, and he addresses all the focus areas, what the status of FIFA is. We have also social functions where we talk to each other, and a lot of contacts are made there, a lot of deals are made there, when you're talking to people and we say, hey, we're similar countries. Let's look at this. Let's look at that. So it's very valuable from an experience point of view. You'd have seen, I don't know if you saw, I mean, even Ronaldo was there. I took a picture of Ronaldo.
yes.
Original
Yeah.
Ronaldo.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I don't want to say that's a fat Ronaldo, but we know
Yeah,
you're talking. The
the
Brazilian
original
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo. Yeah. I mean, all the FIFA heads were the Arsene Wenger, who is in charge of talent development.
Meant right. Okay.
Was there. So it gives you a good foundation to go and meet people and understand and see what FIFA is coming with for 2023. So FIFA is going to put a lot of money and focus on talent development, which is big for us, and women's football development. So those are the two big focus areas for FIFA. So the World Cup coming up in the summer is supposed to be the best women's World Cup ever.
Yeah.
We've already advertised the tickets for sale. Some people have taken up tickets. I think it's going to be a fantastic event. Of course, myself and the president will be there. But just being there in Qatar, and let me tell you something, man. Jamaicans don't realize how big the Jamaican brand is,
Yeah.
When you're there, and everybody wants to talk to Jamaica. I carried a few jerseys.
What you think is the cause of that though? Is it the music? Is it just the people? Is it the athletes?
Everything. Jamaica is just a huge brand, from Bob Marley to the music, with you saying, and the culture, the people, the tourism. It's just a huge brand. I mean, when you go there and you have a few jerseys, and you must see everybody want a jersey. Everybody want a Jamaica jersey.
They want a Jamaican jersey. Yeah.
And Jamaica is not at the World Cup, right? But everybody just, so it's really a huge brand, I must tell you. And I mean, when you look at and speaking to the other Caribbean islands that were there, everybody in the Caribbean looks towards Jamaica, as the powerhouse of the Caribbean, for football.
Yeah, sure about that, because like Trinidad and Tobago is our major rival when it comes on to football in particular.
I tell you, everybody in the Caribbean looks towards Jamaica.
Yeah.
Jamaica is the powerhouse in football for the Caribbean, right? And that is why it's so important for us to manage this brand properly and manage our program properly, because we are looked up to. I mean, the brand Jamaica itself, there's no other island in the Caribbean that has the brand that Jamaica has, right?
Well, that is true. We can all agree with that. But one of the key things that Chris said in his interview, because we're talking about the same the Reggae Boys stuff, and he's saying that because we're saying that how that with the merchandising and the stuff, but he kind of explained to the people that at the end of the day, people think like selling the merchandise is the biggest part of the marketing. Yeah. But he kind of explained that the marketing goes way beyond that. To place, to product, to promotion, to like I said, he listed the 4 P's and kind of clarified that maybe it is wise to not have the responsibility of having that registered and managing it for the GFF. Being that we're such a big brand, it would have been probably very difficult to have the resources in terms of human resources, financial resources, to have Reggae Boys, like ownership of the brand itself in China, in Japan, in the US, in Europe, and all of those places. So he's saying that maybe Yeah,
well,
go ahead.
let me tell you something. Um, the brand, no one, I mean, someone can manage a brand on our behalf, but no one else can own the brand, right?
Okay.
Yeah, because the reggae, but it's like if you management try to register the brand Apple or IBM, right? You can't register it because everybody in the world knows that what IBM and Apple is. Everybody in the world knows what Reggae Boys is. So even if you were to go and register it, right? You don't own it. You can't own it because it is already known. I don't know if you ever hear about this thing called poor man's copyright.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
The
yes,
poor
yes,
man's
yes.
copyright is that when you develop it, you just send a postage to
Right.
yourself,
To yourself,
right?
right.
So I mean, you remember this restaurant that was in Jamaica called McDonald's, right?
Yes.
And
And
they
then
had filed suit against the real McDonald's to say that they own the brand in Jamaica. But the outcome of it was that no, hey, these guys already existed, right? And they already globally was known, even though they weren't registered in Jamaica, that they owned the Golden Arches, right? Um,
oh,
so once your brand is known already, right? Even if someone goes and registers it, and I was involved in another well-known company, right? I can't mention, but someone had registered a Jamaican company. Someone had gone and registered a name in the US. And when the thing went to the court, the judge said, hey, but you can't register something that is already well known. So when you think about it, registering a trademark that is already well known is not there's no creativity in that. Is you just registering something that somebody already own already, you know?
okay.
Um, yeah, so it anybody can go and register something, but the effect of it really is that hey, if you register the Reggae Girlz or something like that, right? Where does the team the Reggae Girlz reside? It resides with JFF.
So what you're saying, is that if it is challenges in court, maybe the JFF would win any
Yeah.
sort of to take it back. But now, though, it is actually registered by people. Now, I don't know if they are, because like what Chris was saying is that it could be that the JFF decide, like, listen, we don't have the resources in terms of personnel to do this. You do it, right? And then they can work out something. As I think he was suggesting that there could be something like they could get a percentage of
Yeah, man.
merchandise.
Yeah, man.
As
So
an example. Yeah.
in that case now, it would be us who said to them, hey, manage the brand for us.
Right, which is what he was saying. You could actually
Right,
have
right,
persons who,
right,
because he said that
right.
Jamaica doesn't have any, um, uh, I'm going to tell you the word he used. When you go to a track and field meet, they say that you have to be, for you to go to the FIFA World Cup, you have to be, what's the word? It's slipping me right now. You accredited.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's no accredited company for global merchandising in Jamaica.
Right, right. That's true. That's true. You'd have to go and do it somewhere else
Right. And
in
he
the
says that
States
may
or
have
so.
been
Yeah,
right. So
yeah,
he was
yeah.
suggesting that that may have been it because there's no accredited. They are merchandisers, but are they accredited? But I mean, yeah. So I think when both
Yeah,
of you
so
have a
so so
conversation,
like so like it's like in the case with the Adidas thing, we say, hey Adidas, we give you the right to go and use the brand. You understand what
oh,
I'm saying?
okay,
We say
okay,
you can use the brand,
brand,
right?
yes,
All the brands that we have, you can use it in the marketing, right? When that if when that agreement ends though, then
it belongs
it,
to you.
belo- it belongs to us. But what we do is give persons the right to use it. But I mean, think about it. The brand Reggae Boys is tied to a football team, Reggae Boys. You
And
understand what
that
I'm
is
saying?
that is why. Listen, I'd love for you, like for many of us, the fans, like this is something that I'd love one day that if you have, because sometimes to me it appears that you're just coming in and I would not even try to, put you under immense pressure to, but I figure at some point you will probably come back to us and have a better explanation of it because the company may be doing it on behalf of the federation for a period of
Right.
time. We don't know, and I think there's too much uncertainty around it, and it's I don't even feel like I can ask the more appropriate question because I'm not sure how it is set up, and it seemed like you're not sure how it was initiated. So maybe down the road.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as I
Yeah,
said, people can register anything they want, right? It's like a man can go and file any lawsuit he wants. It doesn't mean it's successful, right? So it's like if you Manning's man say, boy, I'm going to register the Tesla brand in Jamaica because they haven't registered Tesla. I mean,
yeah. In
you
Jamaica, they
understand what I'm
haven't
saying?
registered it in Jamaica. It's not registered in Jamaica, and I
Yeah,
tried to
yeah.
register.
But what is the substance of that? Because the Tesla brand is related to a Tesla product that is made. So even if you register that Tesla name, right, the only thing that you could do is set a Tesla, and
Can I use it?
you could try challenge it, right?
Oh,
But just like the McDonald's restaurant situation where they tried to stop McDonald's from coming to Jamaica and using the golden arches, they weren't successful because they say, hey, everybody knows already that the golden arches belongs to McDonald's in the
McDonald's.
US,
Yeah,
right? So you registering it doesn't have any substantive impact. It just means that you have registered it. But at the end of the day, Manning's man, I mean, somebody who registered in Jamaica and somebody who owns the brand and the product, who are you gonna buy
yeah,
Tesla from? The
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
And the person in Jamaica couldn't sue Tesla for using the person who
No,
tried. Okay,
no. Because if you buy a Tesla from overseas and ship it to Jamaica, the person here don't have any rights to that. You understand?
okay,
You
okay.
bought the brand Tesla. Everybody knows the brand Tesla.
Yeah,
You
somebody said.
understand?
Somebody said, "Man, please get someone who is an expert in copyright and patent to provide perspective on this. I am sure Tesla is registered corp, just like McDonald's."
Yeah.
You see, that's what I'm saying. That because I am not versed
Yeah,
in this
yeah,
kind of
yeah. And
legal.
I'm
Yeah,
saying it to you based on experience I've had,
yeah.
but I'm not a lawyer, of course, right?
Yes, I know.
But
Yeah,
for me, it is logical also. Um, I mean, when you look at companies in China, for example, who have made fictitious Nike brands and that sort of thing, they might have made a brand, um, and 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 there
yeah,
was no registration there, right? But
yeah,
when it go to another country, right? I mean, whether you register the Reggae Boys, for example, is one Reggae Boys team will come there and play. You can't provide that team.
yeah. Uh, yeah, you know what is true though is this. I'm trying to figure out if somebody says, like, if somebody says, listen, you guys have the name Reggae Boys and your new Adidas kit, we own it and we need some money from this deal. Does the JFF have a legal position to say, no, this is ours? That's what I'm wondering.
Oh
Because if
yeah,
somebody
I,
says,
I I I think so. Yeah, yeah, and
okay,
therefore that is why we have to we would have to give permission to somebody to use it because I mean
okay,
they could say and they could challenge it. Anybody can challenge it and say, boy, hey, it is ours. But at the end of the day, who does the brand really belong to? That's what the court look at. right? Who a brand, you know, is something that someone has developed. You understand? So
Yes,
you
yes,
can
yes.
know about a brand and then
Unless somebody
register the
does, yeah.
brand and then own the brand. You understand? So if you know about a brand already and you go register it, right? I don't know if Apple Computers is registered here. I don't think so. They might not be registered here. Could you go and register Apple Computer brand here? And you think say you'll be successful in fighting them?
No. Listen. This is logic. I want
Yeah.
what I'm not sure about is how logic and
The
law.
legal side of it.
Yes, because
Yeah.
what is logical may not be legal. So
No, I understand, and that's why I'm
yes.
saying to you that I've been involved in a huge Jamaican brand already where someone registered it overseas. It wasn't registered there, right? And when it went to court, the brand here won because I
Yeah.
said, hey, this brand exists already. So you knew about the brand when you registered. It's not that you created a brand.
All right, all right. Like
Understand?
Warren says, patty in Toronto had to be changed to Jamaican beef patty. And but you see, I don't know about those things, so I'm not going to. I can't really. I need to get an expert in that.
So you say you was a party. You think someone could successfully register Tasty overseas and then defend that because they would be registered. Put it this way: they would be registering Tasty to get the benefit of the Tasty
Sure,
name.
but you know what? You're making a valid point. That is true. So if somebody
Yeah.
overseas in the States says, "All right, I'm going to register Tasties," and it's not over there,
Yeah.
and then Tasties Jamaica said, "No, we have this already." They can't. What could happen is that maybe it is a legal cost. That would be the issue still, but maybe it's the person may have a case in court, though they may not win. And that may be the next challenge. What kind of financial resources it would take to deal with something of that magnitude? Is it a big legal battle? Because I suspect patent and labels and trademarks and those things are very important things to manage. You can't just leave them out there because people do exactly this. People go and register your
But
things.
you see, the thing is that the reason why it will be difficult is because the Tasty brand, even though not registered, is already in the
Internationally.
US. It's in the
Okay.
US. People buy it in the US. People carry it to the US, right? Just like the reggae boys have been playing all over the world already. So
Yeah.
they have already been in those markets and established themselves as brands in those markets.
All the people you're saying that there's a fake Tasty brand.
Well,
Listen,
you notice the word they use, Mannings. They say there's a fake Tasty brand.
people,
Right?
let me say, I'm not an expert in this, and I'm not going to venture in something that I am not the expert in. So we will pick up on this when Mr. Chung has some more information. Just trying to add both sides of the arguments from Chris Darren and from him together. Someone just texted me and said, not sure if you want to ask this for clarity, but if FIFA pays for hotels, food, airfare, what does the MA pay for?
You mean when we go to a tournament like the World Cup?
So like when you're going to the World Cup, what this person is saying is that FIFA covers the airfare, they cover hotel, and they cover all the food for the teams.
Yeah.
So they're asking, what is the administration responsible for?
We don't really pay for anything. So
But
FIFA will set you have we will cover the cost for X amount of people. If you go over that, then you're responsible for it.
Okay. So if FIFA says that we are going to provide accommodation, food, airfare for 30 persons, once you stay within that 30, all the expenses are covered.
Yeah, man, all the expenses are covered
by FIFA. All right. So the next big question then is so what are the things that the federation then, not just Jamaica, but just because you're at the Congress, the FIFA thing in Qatar. So what are the other things that the federation will do? Does that include salaries or camps leading up. So the major expenses for like the Jamaica Football Federation.
Yeah. So the camps leading up, the salaries, all the expenses before the actual FIFA tournament, right? We are responsible for those things, right? We get some help with preparation money, but the primary things we are responsible, salaries and that sort of thing.
Okay,
Right?
okay, I see.
Yeah.
So the funding needed really is to pay salaries. I like per diem because I suspect the federation covers the per diem for the players, not FIFA, and for the staff.
Yeah.
Okay, so per diem, salaries, camps leading up, and those things. Okay, okay.
That is why you see when you qualify for a World Cup, it basically that must be the aim, because I mean, if we were to have qualified for the men's World Cup, it's 10 million US dollars we get,
Yeah. It's $9 million, I think. 10 million.
10 million US dollars, about that. Yeah, we get right. So that's why qualifying for the World Cup is so important.
Okay.
Basically get to recover all your costs that you've made in the campaign.
Okay.
By qualifying. And this is why it's a serious thing, So it's not, when someone said, boy, why do you get a overseas coach? We tried the local coaches and we weren't too successful with it. So we said, boy, the last time we had success, we had an overseas coach. And this guy has a lot of experience, right? Which is why it is a business decision, right? We have to take a decision that's in the best interest of ensuring that we qualify for World Cup. The sentiments and that sort of thing, we really can't go with. If there is someone, and we do have local people in the camps, right?
Yes.
We have local people in the camps, but at the end of the day, we have to make a decision that is based on us getting that qualification to the World Cup.
All right. So this is a big, because you are making the point, because this is the big point. I think the administration now have to realize that one of their biggest deficit financially is not qualifying. Therefore, like exactly what you're saying, everything must be done to qualify, because the resources that you use to qualify, you can only get them back if you qualify.
Yes.
Or else you're going to have a deficit, which we have been having deficits from 1998.
Yeah.
Which is the problem. Because if you're not qualifying for the tournament, to get the FIFA money, you're going to be scrambling. It may not be a large deficit, but you're going to be scrambling. So therefore, like I said, 2026 must be a priority where we have
and that's why we have to rally all of Jamaica. But we're going there. We're going there. I mean, I have no doubt. I mean, with the coach, the coaching staff, the focus on talent development. I mean, other people are doing it, but look at the quality of the players that Jamaica has, all over the world. I mean, even the last World Cup campaign, we had a great skill set, we had great players. I think it was probably the most talented team individually. What we failed to do is bring the team together, right? But it was a very talented set of guys who were there.
Yeah. I mean, I have so many questions. When you come on, I don't know. I can't keep up with the comments there on the program. People will be more receptive to contribute if they have some idea of itemized expenses and how their contribution would be used to satisfy such expenses, which is probably just saying if people trust the credibility of the organization, of the federation, in terms of if I give money for 10 oranges as an example, kind of weird at the hut, right? I know that it's going to go to oranges because they know that here are the areas that they need funds for. They're going to Florida for a camp. They need, in terms of the food expense, it is $10,000. So let's get $10,000. I think this person is saying that if for camps like these, the public knows this is the budget for the camp, not the JFF overall budget with all its internals, but for this Reggae Girlz camp, we need the flights will cost us, because this is not FIFA money, this is funds the federation has to raise, $10, Food is $5. Hotel accommodation is $6. Coaches, you may not want to put that in there, but you understand me? Other costs, and the total amount is $40. And we have $20. So we have a shortfall of 20. Yeah. If that kind of information is presented, do you believe that it is risky to do that, or it is better that?
No,
that
I mean, it can be done, but the truth is that, I mean, it comes down to trust, because the fact that we go and do the camp and meet expenses, it means that your money would have gone there. Remember, money is fungible, right? So, money, the only way to guarantee that the money that you send is the exact dollar for dollar that go there is to pay for the thing directly, right? But if you send money to JFF, it's not like, say, we have a bank account for every single activity that we're doing, right? But the fact that we get the outcome is what should be the greatest concern. So, we have the outcome that the girls went to the camp and the meals were covered and everything. That is the greatest concern, right? Another way that sponsors will say, I want to ensure that I'm linked to this program, is that they say, I will give money to the girls and my branding is around the girls.
Yeah.
You understand? But it's very difficult. I mean, if we were to account for every dollar and trace every dollar to go everywhere that everybody say want to go, we'd spend all our time doing accounting and putting out those reports. But what's important is that at the end of the day, you see that the camp happened and the camp was successful. If the camp didn't happen and it wasn't successful, then you can say, hey, but I gave you money to feel so and so, right? But once you see the camp happen and it is successful, then you know.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. So if person say, I gave $10,000 for the camp, US, as an example, and then the camp took place, everything was taken care of, no player complaining, no coach complaining, and they say excellent camp, then that's what they gave the money for, and it was done. Because you are not going to be able to say, well, you see the $10 that I gave management, we use it to buy 5 pounds of flour. Right? What you're going to say, the girls got food. Because that $10 may have been used to buy some Panadol, as an example. But the thing is that the money was spent on the camp.
Exactly. And at that point, we can say, hey, these are the people who contributed to the camp.
Yeah.
So we could do something like that.
Yeah. That I think that makes sense. You're right. Because when you're doing things so big, it's very hard, like I said, to point where every dollar is going. So I hope people are understanding that. People, listen, if you send the comments like that, it's going to be hard. It's just one management and one Mr. Chung, right? So if you see any coming up on your screen and you feel like you need to answer it, right? But are you planning on doing anything to engage the diaspora in a more, I don't know, like, I know that these platforms, because the truth is a lot of the people on the platforms are not living in Jamaica. They are Jamaica.
So what we're gonna do, I mean, myself and the president has been talking about it, and when we go on some of these trips, we want to engage diaspora people directly. People who are living there, who are Jamaicans, just have meetings with them, and discuss things with them. So wherever we go on a trip, we'll set that up so that we say, hey, Jamaicans, come and have a sit down with us.
I think that would be good to have some forums in the the team is going to Florida. I don't know if say you're like I say, you and the president are going to be there. It would be good to.
No, we won't be there because we have made a decision internally that we don't go on any camps or friendlies, right? The only person we send is what we call a HOD, head of delegation, right? Because we don't see where it's necessary. I mean, a lot of that used to be done.
That's a new thing.
Yeah, man. So I basically, with the president, we put that in place. We're not doing that, right? Because it really is not as far as I'm concerned, not value for money to do it. When we have the official tournaments, we will go because there's business for us to do. There are people for us to talk to and that sort of thing. So we'll go, for example, to the Gold Cup, right? Or the
Yes.
Nations Cup or the World Cup, right? But outside of that, you realize we didn't go to Cameroon when the camp happened the other day for the under 17, and the girls had a camp already in Florida. We didn't go, right? Because we have decided that we're going to go to, certain things.
Yeah. And that saves money.
Yeah, it saves money and it allows us to focus on the things that are important to focus on, because if they're going to a camp, the coach must can handle that.
And they had a delegation. There you
And
go.
they had a delegation.
Yeah.
They handle that. If they can't handle that, that means that they mustn't go on the next one.
Yeah.
Right? And that's an internal decision we've taken. But whenever we are going to ensure that we engage with the diaspora directly, whoever is there, ensure that we meet with Jamaicans and that sort of thing.
And what I'll say that if it is taking too long, because I think the next trip would be the Gold Cup, because outside of that, which is way down in the summer, because you have the Nations League in March.
Yeah, we're going. Right. The next trip might be the Gold Cup,
which is in Mexico.
Yeah.
So the next thing maybe the Gold Cup.
I think we're gonna go to Nations League, right?
No, man, but the Nations League game is a game against Mexico in March.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so we might go to that one.
Yes, yeah, so I'm just thinking, hear myself, because I'm thinking, because a lot of these, and I'm suggesting this because I've seen some of these guys actually give their resources. People like even the camp in Florida, it is a diaspora that with the boys, in terms of from the airport, all of those things.
The diaspora help us, yeah.
Significantly, and we know that. So I'm thinking that if instead of waiting until in the summer, because you're probably not going to capture everyone, could there be like, probably every other month you have what you call a diaspora forum where you meet with the people from Canada, in Toronto, for example, and you just sit, because you're very good at this, just engaging people and say, listen.
But Manning's man, I'm not going to travel just for that alone.
No, man, I'm saying have a Zoom.
Oh, Zoom. Yeah. No. Those we're looking at actually that too, in terms of what we call a JFF Live.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm thinking, to have something like that, because based on the implementation of this, not traveling the team, your next travel going to be in the Gold Cup.
Yeah.
And that may be too far away, and you may probably look at that, but
yeah, man. So we're looking at all of those things in terms of what we call a JFF Live.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Awesome. Triple E says Mr. Chung, the ambassador for JA, is already in the capital of the US, Washington, DC. It would be nice to have a delegate to represent the in the MDV region. All right.
Yeah, well, a delegate in terms of an ambassador.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Triple E means.
Yeah, but we can do that.
Yeah, have CG Mayor in Miami arrange things in South Florida. CJ Mayor. I mean, listen, there. Trust me, people. There is enough people. There is enough Jamaican that I'm very sure that even, yeah. Here's the next one I want to, because this is the next one. What about this side of the thing? Because two things, and the other thing is that I know that there is some discussion about the women's league, and you're part of the conversation, and because they have been having some struggles, which is the ladies are playing, and it's really ladies who work full-time jobs for the most part, trying to play to bring a league back to life.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are not training. Sometimes they are not available because they are not being paid. Can FIFA help with this? Like say, listen, we have 10 teams. This is what
we already helped them with some funding, Right?
Oh, okay.
It's not sufficient though, and even at the men's league is much improved more than that. It's a good league, but we still don't get big salaries there, you know. And I said to people that I will recognize that we have challenges with the women's league now, but
Yeah.
remember it's in the embryonic stages and we're going to have challenges, but we can't let that stop us. We have to persist with football. You're going to have stops and starts, but you have to persist. The talent development that we're coming with is going to be focused also on it. Two other challenges with women's football is, number one, we don't have enough women playing football or girls playing football in Jamaica. You have a lot more boys playing football. So the pool that you can choose from, right, is much, much bigger, right? So you don't have as many women's clubs, right? You don't have a lot of women's football being played in schools as much
Yeah.
as the men's or the boys, you know. The other thing though is that as good as our girls do, I know, and the girls, the quality of the games are very good, right? And we announced that our girls going to World Cup and everything, right? You have our team, our girls team that going to World Cup, and you bring a match with the men's who didn't qualify, and who you think gonna get more attendance?
Yeah.
And that's the truth, the truth of the matter is that the success of a sport or anything at all depends on the support from the fans.
Yeah.
So when people say to us, boy, what are you doing for the girls and this? The fact of the matter is that we
Fans don't
don't get
support it. It's
the
true. The
fans,
fans don't
right?
support it. Yeah.
Right. The same fans that curse us don't support it.
Yeah.
Right? And
That is true. You have a very valid point right there.
that's a
I
huge
can't even
issue.
argue that.
That's a huge issue. I mean, they'll as soon as a men's game announced, the place will be full, right? But the girls, with as great as they've done, I mean, the only team to have qualified not once but twice to a World Cup, right? The only team, men or women, in the Caribbean that have gone to 2 World Cups, the women, and they still struggle to get the support. Why? Because the fans just don't support women's football, even though the quality of the game is so great. And they'll talk about how great they're doing. Bunny Shaw was the second highest scorer in the Women's Premier League in England. Right? We have a great talent like Jodie Brown coming out of the US, right? Trudy Carter. When you put all of those guys together and the quality that they're playing, and it's not just Jamaica, is that you remember the women's US team had to strike the other day to get the same pay, even though they were winning all the World Cup, and the men weren't even going to the quarterfinals.
So well. Yeah, and they're a number one ranked team. Yeah, absolutely right. There is that, but maybe we have to be more rigorous in terms of our promotion of it. You understand me?
But is not promotions alone, because it's just that people don't support women's sports as much. When you look, for example, at the thing like
netball,
the netball or the cycling, the Tour de France for the men is huge. They have a women's Tour de France, but they don't get a lot of support. We have an inclination, men and women don't support women as much as they support men.
Yeah. That is true, but we have to. It has to. Listen. I mean, it is sad that games only 7 persons, and understand me. So we have to do something about that. But maybe the Premier League clubs need to have, as part of their registration on the JFF Connect thing, is that you must have a women's team. Like, you understand me? Participating, and maybe that will help. But like I said, it's a very, very
but you can't tell them that if you don't have enough women interested, you can't tell them they must have it.
In the meantime, we can bring in some ladies from the Caribbean to play. Like,
well, listen, Jamaican women's football is way ahead of the Caribbean. So we can't even get the people here to play. right?
No, no. What I'm saying is that I mean you have because when you have the CONCACAF qualifiers, Trinidad have a team and St. Vincent have a team, and so and they don't have leagues. So could we look
Oh,
at
you
the
mean
option of
to
say,
bring them here to play?
yeah, to say, listen, we
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
women's league,
So Mannings, man, we can't do that, you know. But
but the
are
pay.
we gonna get the attendance at the match to pay for the cost?
Well, yeah, that is true. So
You understand?
yeah,
And that's
yeah.
the issue, you know.
The only way we're going to qualify for the World Cup is only if we get in players early to get that chemistry. We can't have players making their debut in the World Cup qualifying game. So a lot of question has been around this, and so we're going to touch on it quickly because Mr. Daring also said in his thing that part of the product is important, and that he spoke about the players, which is part of the most important product, and and he made mention of during when he got into West Indies cricket, he said when the players left their luggage, at the air when they came to the airport and they dropped off the luggage, the next time they saw their luggage was when they were in their hotel room. They had no issues, and he was talking about that in terms of making. His exact quote was, "We are not a first world country, but we can provide first class treatment."
Mm-hmm.
He said that when players come, and he said local players and overseas player, they must have a wow moment. Like that's like whoa. So when a Mikel Antonio turns up to represent Jamaica, he goes wow. And so when he goes back to West Ham, he says to that other player that has Jamaican connection, you need to come down and
Yeah,
check out these guys.
and he has been saying that, you know, right? I can tell you that no, he has been saying it. He
That
actually was on TikTok.
Mikel Antonio has been saying that.
Yeah, he actually was on TikTok saying it, that encouraging the guys to come down to Jamaica for the food and everything. He said it's a great place. But the thing is that we do all of that. So we have an equipment manager, we have masseuse, we have doctor that travel with the team, we have all of those things. So we have a big staff that goes with them, right? And the thing is that we have managers for our team, right? And our managers will say to us, this is what we want. I tell you something, the last World Cup campaign, right? And a lot of people come down and say, boy, the JFF, this and that. The JFF provided every single thing that was asked for by the team. Everything. Spared no expense. I was a finance committee chairman, and even me, I was opposing some of the things. But everything that they asked for, they got. Right? So there is no problem with providing it. Right? And you'll see even with the coaches and everything that we have now, we have made significant investments and we've made certain commitments. But everything that is asked for, they get them. Right? So that's not a problem. And Chris is right. I mean, that's the sort of thing that we want to provide. That's the sort of,
So
definitely.
so that means, can I take from this that given some of the hiccups we had in the last campaign, especially with though there was a pandemic and we can make the excuses, but given some of the hiccups we have, we're getting our finances in order so that we can, one, get players early, ensure that who needs documentation, they have proper documentations in terms of their Jamaican passports and citizenship once they indicate, and of course with the coach, because you're not in player selection. So the coach says, good player, want him. The machinery in the JFF is there now to help them through the process.
So I said to all my managers, I said, listen, we know that we're going somewhere in 2 months' time. Give me a list of who needs visas. Give me a list of who is traveling, and let's book our tickets a month in advance, right? A big part of the problem that occurred before.
What about the citizenship part, though, especially for the players who are in England who have to do get a Jamaican?
Yeah, man. But and this is why the managers are important, because the managers have to feed that information to us, right?
Okay.
So we said to the managers, tell us everything you want. give us a task list of everything. For example, with the Women's World Cup, I said to the manager, give me a task list of everything leading up. Give me the list of all the flights that we need, right? 1 month in advance, so we can book it in advance. A big part of the problem that occurred before, right, was that everything was done at last minute, and not necessarily because, right, the JFF bundled it. But sometimes what happened, which I'm trying to cut out now, right, is that we would have booked tickets, and at the last moment, like a day or two before, the player changes their mind and say, oh, we don't want to go this time again. You understand?
Okay.
And create a problem. So I'm saying to them, you tell me a month in advance so we can book the thing. Make sure that this is what you're doing.
I hear that part and that part I can understand. And let me just say this, because I saw this today, you know, because I have a flight too, that for the kids going to Florida, you know, that they have to have COVID vaccine now starting tomorrow to enter the United States. They have reinstituted that. So I know you say you have a camp coming up, like the boys are supposed to go. They need to know that they have to have their COVID vaccines. Right. So thanks for that, Dwight. Now, the visa, the ticket part, I don't want to get into that because I understand. I can't remember. Someone from the GFF explained. It may have been you, you know, explain some of the problems with the tickets. I think the challenge some of us have is there are players who play in the Premier League in England or in the Championship who have Jamaican heritage. You know, it's a little bit difficult because it's not like in the States. It's always easier to get someone from Canada or the United States to kind of get Jamaican citizenship and passport, because they normally have a closer connection than those in England, because those in England are probably great-great-grand. You understand? It's a little bit further back in terms of the generational line. Would you agree with that, firstly?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So when an 18-year-old or a 22-year-old who has never been to Jamaica understand his great-grandfather is a Jamaican and he could qualify to play for Jamaica, and he's wanted by England. What I want to know is that if there's a ready machinery now in the GFF that says, listen, this player, let me call a name. Who is over there now? This player called Levi Colwell, who plays at he plays in the Premier League right now. Very good centre back. So he says, I want to play for Jamaica, as an example, right? Do we have a way of someone talking to him, finding out, establishing that there is a legitimate connection? Then
That's done right now. So
that's
the coach,
done right now.
Yeah, man. The coach will do all of that along with the manager.
Okay, that is good to know, because that was one of the hiccups in the last campaign.
Yeah,
that was one of the hiccups. Not really the visa and the travel, but the getting the Jamaican citizenship early enough.
Yeah. So that is planning, right? It means that what you should do is do all of those things by a certain time. There are gonna be some instances that you have one or two exceptions, you know, right? But I would expect that the manager is going to do all of that, right? Because I'm not going to tell the manager how to run their thing. I'm going to say to the manager, I expect you to manage the thing efficiently, right?
Yeah.
If I have to tell somebody, if I tell people all the while, if I have to tell you how to do the thing, then I don't need you.
Yeah. So, but do you have like an organization like the GFF? Do you have evaluation? Like
Yeah, man. Evaluation of the staff, yeah.
Okay. So because it would be good to know like how the like the evaluation process of the managers of the different teams. Seeing that you have said that everything that the teams needed, they were given. It probably wasn't managed properly, which is speaking about a management deficit, which may not directly point to the team manager, but everything rises and falls on leadership.
Yeah, so my approach now, Manningsman, is that the coach has a responsibility to make sure that the teams do well. The manager has a responsibility to make sure that everything is organized properly around the teams, right? If they do not do that, then they will not be with JFF at some point in time.
Yeah, right.
As
Strong
simple
word.
as that.
I know there was a
And
famous.
I tell my staff that I say, listen, if you can deliver to me what we have set as objectives and strategic
Okay.
objectives, everyone will have a scorecard, right? Then guess
Okay.
what? You're letting down the whole team and you're not going to be here.
Yeah. Yeah. What I'll say is that, listen, man, I'm telling you, like, there's a famous politician who was quoted as saying, I cannot recall this one. I am going to remember. I am going to remember this one. I'm going to measure the performance of the team and stuff, you know. This person is asking if it is our understanding that the process that we are speaking of about the players, especially getting there, all right, and those who are legit Jamaican, because we don't want anybody to say they want to play for Jamaica. Next thing you know, you go through one whole heap of things only to find out that they are Kitishans and not Jamaicans, right? So they're asking if you're talking about the past.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. The people
Yeah.
who want to play has a responsibility themselves also to ensure that they qualify to play. You know? Not just rely on somebody to tell them that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, yeah.
understand?
That is, yeah, which is what Pesa is saying. What Pesa is saying is that the players who are interested need to say they want to represent Jamaica, because it's two ways. It's two ways, right? And so that's a valid point as well. Do you really want to represent Jamaica? Like Dwight is saying, there are no fake Jamaicans out there. Also, no fraudsters think them Jamaican but cannot prove that on paper. So you have to be wise, because you don't want to go ahead and do those things and then the person is not a Jamaican, and you end up spending resources, financial, and your time.
Right.
Yeah. This one is asking: is there what the average annual budget in terms of expenditure for the JFF? Like, are that figure is also not public? Like, what it costs to run the JFF?
No, we don't make it public, but it comes out in the financial statements at the end of the year. But we don't make the budget public.
Okay, and will we be engaging like the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to help with like getting passport for those players who want to represent Jamaica?
Definitely.
Okay, all right. Listen, this is. I had a couple of persons from out of the diaspora calling, but I have not accepted any call. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take 2 questions from you, right? So you can call and you ask Mr. Chung 2 questions, a couple of you, and then I will release him. It is Sunday as his family, and you can tell he has been going. Listen, people, he has been going non-stop since he has taken over this job. So, we want him to stay healthy and strong. So if you have a couple of questions, you can call in, you can ask him directly, and he will answer as best as he can. And then I'll give him the last word, because one of the key things I want to do is to ensure that he gives you, the fans out there, an opportunity to partner with the program. And like I've been challenging you, we have to change the dialogue. It's not time to create discord and disunity. It is time to support the change that we are seeing. We can be critical, when things are not right, we must criticize, but we must change our tone and our conduct in these spaces and support the program, because some of the changes that we have been crying out for, we are presently seeing. And you have to give credit where credit is due. All right. So go ahead and call. But Mr. Chung, anything you want to say to the people as we are about to wrap up? And I want to make sure that you have ventilated all that you have to say. If there's anything we need to know in terms of work that you're doing, go ahead and share that.
Yeah, I'll say to the people, continue to hold us accountable. I always say that, my whatever I do is an open book, because I have nothing to hide. But I want people to hold us accountable and respectfully, and within common sense also. Some people make some comments also. I wonder, you know, if they really thought about it. But you know, logical comments and criticisms and respectful. You know, I've always maintained that, man. You know,
Yeah.
respect is very important. But I think disagreements is important. If everybody, if we didn't have disagreement, then the wheel wouldn't be round. The wheel would still be square. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's important for us to disagree and disagree respectfully and help
Yeah.
each other towards a goal. You know, and I look forward to that. We will continue to be very transparent. You know, I'm someone who believes in accountability. And you know, I'm going to ensure that JFF, you know, as in November, myself and the president went to or in October, myself and the president went to a workshop
All right. Listen,
in Miami.
we have a caller on the line, right? Just hold on. Don't miss it, because since he has come on, I know he's here, because I answered the phone. He's clearing his throat non-stop. So he's trying to say, I'm here. Caller, welcome to I Am Sure Sports.
Why you giving me a hard time, man?
No, I'm just saying.
Good
that.
night, Dennis.
Yeah, man, how you doing?
I just drank some juice. The juice is messing me up.
Oh,
Good night. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
let me just let you know, he's from the diaspora in New York. So when you go there, probably if you're in that era, he's one of those who. Yes, go ahead, caller.
So my comment is more of a comment than a question, which is more around, Dennis, I think the most important thing for us is the product. I know all the other factors are important, marketing, resources, but the product also has resources. Not sure how much we leverage that. So my point is, you've said a number of things tonight, because I've heard the entire program, about the product. We haven't heard some of those things from the product, and it doesn't align. This is not to sow discord. It doesn't align with what we are hearing in general public. Now you have more inside information than we do. So my suggestion is that as management alluded to, we source the best product we can from wherever that product resides, and we leverage that product to execute our mandate. Because we're saying, well, the players need to know their nationality, the players need to do X, Y, Z. I would say, from where I sit, that we need the players more than the players need us, frankly. We're trying to get their work up. We're trying to generate revenue to help uplift and advance the program. We should do all we can to get the best product, but whatever means we can. As you guys know, in the last World Cup, I think there was 130-something number of players who weren't born in the country that they were playing for. And I think Morocco had about 7 players who weren't born there who started on their World Cup team, which suggests we got to go out. And as the gentleman who Manning's alluded to last time spoke about, which is we have to make the players when they come in feel welcome. And even though we may not have the resources, feel like they're part of a world-class organization because of how we are organized. We are tired of over and over again of discord and antagonism between the JFF and the players, which then translate to the fans.
No, I agree with you. And this is why, you know, we're putting certain things in place. For example, one of the things we're putting in place is a code of ethics, you know, that everyone knows how we behave. Because the truth is that when you look at the last discourse that was happening, a lot of it was unnecessary, right? And it's as I put it, 90% of the problems JFF had is because JFF was shooting itself in the foot, making comments that, you know, some of it was just not necessary, right? So we're putting certain things in place, a code of ethics, right? There are 2 policies that we're carrying to the board in over a week, a little over a week time, which is a sexual harassment and a whistleblowing policy, right? We're putting the proper management in place to ensure that the managers are accountable for ensuring the proper organization of the teams, right? The 2 persons that we're bringing on, the 2 well-known names, one of them is going to be responsible for some significant infrastructure in the organization. So we're doing all of that. So I agree with you. I mean, we have to get the best product in place. It's a 2-way thing, though. You know, while we are putting the best product in place, we expect that the players are going to also come and respect and work with the process. You know, we can't have players who are playing for our national team, and at the same time, you're cursing the team that you're playing for. That just don't work in teams, you know. So we're going to ensure that all of those things happen. And I tell you something, aside like Jamaica, it's while we recognize the importance of the players, and that we need to go out and get the players and get the best players, and have a lot of respect and care for the players. There is also a huge advantage in ensuring that you get to play for your national team. It markets everyone, and this is why it's important for JFF and the players to work together, because there's a mutual benefit, so we're going to ensure that relationship is solid.
Here's my last point. Man, is still there?
Yeah, man, I'm still here listening. Go ahead.
My last point is this. I do think the JFF need to revisit some of the thought process about how they engage the constituent outside of Jamaica. There's a lot of intellectual capital outside of Jamaica, and a lot of resources. The JFF put a strategy in place to garner some of that. It will only help to enhance the program. So something that should be considered.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. And I mean, things like JFF Live and even this program here, we're getting feedback, and we're using some of this feedback. So I agree with you, but everything is a processing. As I said to people all the while, I've just been there for 2 months, we're trying to make a lot of changes, but everything is a process. The whole thing we speak about having these forums with people when we travel, this is a way we're going to engage people.
Right.
There's nothing wrong. I mean, in this day and age with technology, if people from the diaspora want to sit on committees, they can sit on it, But what we have is a lot of people locally who say, boy, we want to sit on a committee. But no one from overseas has said to us, boy, yeah, we'd love to sit on a committee. And that's quite possible because, you can have a hybrid meeting between physical and virtual. We have it all the time. So, I would welcome the expertise of someone from the diaspora say, hey, I want to sit on a committee. I want to work with the JFF because, we have a few committees, a few standing committees that we work with, so that's a way to get expertise in.
You hear that?
Well, look, here's my last point, which is this. I am very glad. No. Man, I think a lot of people weren't even aware that you could even do that. That's something that could be done because
I am shocked. At first, I'm hearing that. I didn't know that either, so that's good to know.
Yeah, I'm flabbergasted. But I'll say this, which is, I think people who are not in Jamaica or in diaspora would love to be more involved. But, when you're remote, that's hard to do sometimes. But we welcome the notion and the fact that this is something that's being considered by the JFF. And my last point is this. I am very glad that the JFF is trying to make some meaningful changes, not peripheral changes, meaningful changes, which is bringing in people with intellectual capital and the know-how who have accomplished in other aspects of their life, especially in the business world, to help them move the program forward. That's an imperative, and I'm glad to see that because I really don't want to see another World Cup come. We have positioned ourselves to be part of that contingent for the World Cup so we can all go watch the game. All right?
Yeah, man. We trust me. We will be at the World Cup in 2026.
I heard that about 2022, the last one, but our program is leading, so we can beat Argentina, all those countries. Change your bleeding, man is bad. Come and listen to it.
2026.
Thank you, Dennis. All right, Dennis. Thanks. Have a good night.
All right, no problem.
All right. All right, Cranky. All right, we had someone else who was calling, but I didn't want to take the call. I see people already texted. I'm ready to. But when the JFF Live starts, some of you can better engage Mr. Chung. Like I said, he's one of the good ones. I'll take this one in the meantime while I call back this person. Management, can you ask, are there concrete objectives set for the national team?
Yeah, man, we have our objectives. In fact, we just don't have a budget for 2023, but we have strategic objectives for the organization and for the various departments in the JFF.
Okay. All right. All right.
No.
Yeah, welcome caller. You're calling, so returning your call. Welcome to I'm Sure Sports.
Yes, man. Long time.
Yeah, man. How you doing?
Mr. Me there, man. Just want to big up the Messiah, you know?
What Messi have to do with this now?
Mr. Chung, man.
Me, Messiah, me.
Yeah, man.
This is
That Chung make me feel like I'm a Jamaican again. Yeah, I lost all hope. But Mr. Chung, you have brought me back.
Well, that's good to know. But
where were you all this time?
yeah, well I tell you something. Oh, well, I was dealing with garbage at NSW, man. No, but seriously though.
No.
Yeah.
Seriously, Mr. Chung, me, I don't know what were you doing in garbage.
I'm chairman of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, man.
This conversation is that I don't like this whole garbage in garbage with garbage kind of conversation.
Garbage is very valuable, you know, and as I said to people all the while, if you want to know the value of garbage collection, we'll stop collect for 2 weeks and you see what happened to the country.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you give up, Mr. Chung management can tell us that I give up on Jamaica football because I cried too much, you know.
He took it very hard when the team never qualified. He was one in the diaspora who he never took it so well.
Well, listen,
we're going to. I had sleepless nights, Mr. Chung.
Well, listen. We're going to World Cup 2026, and remember that we're at the Women's World Cup in this year. Right, because a lot of the times people say, the fans will say, boy, we're not in the World Cup, but remember the women's. We have Women's World Cup this year, and that's just as huge for us, right? What I would say though is that, you know, a lot of people see me talking and saying, you know, this is what JFF is doing. Is a team of us. Everything that I represent is because of the team that I work with, right? From the board.
Well, I need to ask you one question.
Mm-hmm.
One question. Are you sure that you're getting the full support of the JFF with all of these things you're saying?
I am sure that I'm getting the support where the support is needed. I will never say that I'm getting the full support, but where the support is needed, I'm getting it. Right?
Mr. Chung.
Yeah.
I am not filling up any strides, but you have done in 2 months what the next Gen 6 has never done in his life.
Yeah, but I don't want to go back to. I don't want to go back to the you know, what's done before.
Mr. Chung, that's why I'm pinching myself and wondering if this is true.
No, man.
But at the same time, in a caller, sometimes one man plant, one water, and the next man. You understand me? Yeah. And the Lord give the increase.
Man,
so,
this money are doing up, man.
Yeah, but
because there's a foundation.
Listen now. One of the things I'm going to ask people, you know, the past is the past. I only want us to use the past as a reference for the future. You know, as to what has happened before, it's gone. We can't do nothing about that again. But what we can do is what's going forward. And that's where I want the support. I made a commitment. I remember the first time I came on management, I was getting a whole heap of cussing, right?
Yes.
But I made a commitment that I'm going to be transparent and that I am going to be ensuring that the proper infrastructure is put in place. And that's all what we're doing, right? The team of us that are there, the president is in full support. I work very closely with Rudolph Speed also from the technical side. I talk to all the coaches. Everybody knows where I am, right? Which I'll tell you, like one of the conversations I have with my coaches, I say, listen, guys, let me tell you something. And I have a generic conversation, nobody specifically, but I say one of the things I'm very clear about is that the JFF is not just about senior men and senior women, but we are entrusted with the care of a lot of the children in under 20, under 17, and under 15. And if I hear one peep that there's anything, right, to do with any allegation, any sexual allegation, I will be the first person to line up with Sissoko with them, right? And that's how serious I am and have the conversation, because I have a daughter, and I can tell you, if my daughter tell me now that she want to play football, if anything like that happened to her, trust me, right? It's a different man you're looking at, right? So I know, and I know that, you know, when people carry their children there, right? Because as I say, it's not, we focus a lot on the senior men and the senior women, but the children need to be taken care of, right? And that sexual harassment policy is very big for me. And that will be approved by the end of this month, right? And that's one thing I don't play with, right?
Yes.
I mean, children must be cared for. So one of the things that we're doing, and I had a discussion with the under 17 camp, is that we're trying to put in place academic support for them also, right? In terms of
when they travel,
or when they're here in the camp,
right?
Right?
Yeah.
So that we want to put together a team of tutors that can help them, right? Because that's very important. Now, we had a meeting the other day with Keith Wellington of ISA, who is actually looking at all of this for us. And, you know, big up to Keith for coming on and supporting us. But that for me is very, very important, right? And also the whistleblower policy is important, because anybody must be able to report on anybody. If I'm just doing something wrong, I want somebody to report me to the president. I know I'm not going to do nothing wrong, right? But that whistleblowing is very important. So those are the infrastructure we're putting in place. But
Mr. Chung,
yeah,
but tell us, say, I never did rate Mr. Speed more. So, but Mr. Say, you are rubber for Mr. Speed, brother.
No man. Let me tell you something. Speed is one.
Different, you know, man. They said the man make me have to sit down and listen to him now.
No, man. Speed is one of the best resources that I have at JFF. Work with.
Gosh, man.
I can tell you.
No, this is coming, I would say this. This is coming from a man, you know. Him hang up all my ears, you know, when he cause Mr. Speed. I say my parents. So the fact that him tell you that
the man disrespect you, hang up in your ears,
yeah,
man.
hang up in my ears, man. I'm telling them, man, treat me. Them man treat me better than the program, you know. The man come and tell me something. Man, come on, for my program, shut up and listen to him, you know. I said, just because we talk to Mr. Speed at the program, and the man vexed, you know. So for him to come to this place,
Mr. Chung, I tell you, say right now, I feel like my ball again when you come out to Jamaica football, brother. I tell you, I wonder if you're true. I wonder if you're real true.
No, man, it's a team, man. Trust me. I have an excellent team at JFF, you know, and I put in certain things in place for them, you know, because I have to take care of the team.
I'm going to pray for you, sir.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot. As much prayer as I can get.
All right, caller.
I'm going to pray that God give you health and strength, brother.
Yeah, man. All right, caller. Bless you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, man.
So Mannings, man, in closing, though,
Yeah,
I
man.
just want to say, I see someone said that they would be willing to help.
Oh, Michael Garden, yeah. Michael Garden, you remember when we were doing that program to get some of the under 20 guys tickets, he was part of the group of us that really worked with that as well.
All right, so I want to give my email address. Anybody who has a desire, just send me an email. It is general.secretary@jff.live. General.secretary@jff.live. Right?
JFF.live. Hey, listen.
And send your interest.
People, this is for foreigner. If you're local, you understand me. I'm just kidding.
No, anybody, right?
That's it, right?
What
Let me
I will
just put it
say
up.
though is
You
that
can
I
see
received,
general.secretary@jff.live.
yeah.
All right,
What
there
I
you
will
go.
say is that I receive a lot of interest. So I will respond to everyone, but there is no guarantee that
Yeah,
persons will be able to fill in because we're gonna be taking the persons who are most suited, right?
yeah.
But everybody
Which is
can
fine.
help in some way,
Yeah.
right? And I encourage it. Send me an email, right? And we will respond to you, and where we can put people in place. Maybe what we should be having is diaspora committees in the various
Right. Somebody
markets.
said exactly. Somebody
You
said
know
that
what I
earlier.
mean? Yeah. So I mean that would be a great thing if we can have diaspora committees in the various markets. So anybody want to get the ball rolling with that, that's great. Just send me an email, right? And we'll respond to it.
All right, so let me release it, but let me just say this. Somebody was saying that we need to you need to get somebody to come and pray up, pray up by the office, and you need to get back the Jesus Save shirts and all of those things because you remember I think they were thinking that in 1998,
Yeah,
but a
man.
lot of that could not happen in the last campaign because of the whole pandemic. How Al Miller was a part of the whole praying, and there were other persons involved in the program, and many people in the campaign said that it looked like they took God out of the program from Renesimo is gone and things, but. Yeah. So some people are saying that as well. But I want to thank you for coming on. 2 hours
Yeah, man.
well spent. I hope that when that person gets the whole marketing thing and the GoFundMe, whatever it is, where people can contribute, that we can get that back. We can get that so we can share it with the fan base through this medium because I want people to begin to put their money where their mouth is. You understand me? Not just talk, that you will want to help, but you are going to have a real opportunity to help in a couple of weeks because someone is coming on board that going to have something set up where you can give funds to. And you are going to hear about that, people. So save up the money, right? It is coming. It is coming. We have a World Cup. We miss one, but we have one in the summer of this year. That's months away. All right. So, Sir Chung, you have the final word, and then we will close out. You can thank the people for listening. I don't know how you want to close
Yeah,
it out.
yeah. I just want to thank you, Mannings, man, for the exposure. I mean, really great, and also the people who are on, and pledge my support and to the program. We will continue to do what is necessary to ensure that the JFF brand and the program advances. And yeah, as I said, if you have a criticism, send it. Constructive criticism. Everybody have my email because that is how we grow. We grow by disagreeing. We don't grow by agreeing. The story of the emperor's new clothes. I mean, everybody who agreed with the emperor was really not doing him any justice. So, you know, I mean, I have no problem with that, but it must be respectful and constructive.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Listen, enjoy the rest of your evening with your family. I mean, you have not been cycling, I've not seen you passing down my side, and you cycle
When
again
I
too.
wrote, I wrote, I wrote, I wrote to Clarendon, Freetown in Clarendon. I'm back today. Did about a little 50-mile ride.
Oh, you're gone on the different side when you have to pass on the north. Long time you don't pass down on the north coast.
Yeah, we're gonna organize a ride one of these days. Somebody's
you
supposed
know,
to organize a
you
little.
know, you know who likes to do this too because that's what they do in their country. Your new coach, because remember in Iceland they don't have a lot of cars. There's a lot of bicycles.
Yeah.
So maybe I should take you on one of those.
We'll take him, but our cycling is not a little ride around. It's some
Yeah.
serious speeds we're going.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, bless you. All the best to you and the family, and best of success, man. Doing a great job, and we are very excited
Yeah,
to
man.
see all that is happening, Mr. Chung. And so keep up the good work, and we'll be in touch again. Thank you so much for coming on, and as usual, appreciate your time, your knowledge, your transparency, your openness, and just being able to talk to the people. Bless you, and have a wonderful evening.
Yeah, man. All right, respect. All
Yeah,
right.
man. All right, so there you go, people. We're going to close it out. Wonderful program. I hope. Let me. I always say this. I apologize if I did not take your comment. There were so much, but I hope in all the discussion, maybe what you asked was answered some way, somehow. Really appreciate your time. Really appreciate your company. All right. Wonderful program. We have a couple of big interviews coming up in this week. Somebody was asking, the coach is not going to England to meet with any players. The coach met with players in England before, in the month of December. All right, his next sojourn will be a sojourn to Jamaica, which will be happening very soon, as you heard. Right. But I have said it before and I say it again. All the players who have indicated an interest, they have been contacted. Do not be drawn into a whole heap of thing about this player and that player. Just know that the coach personally has called every single player, everyone that has indicated an interest. You can take my word on that. And those who he had the opportunity to meet with, he has met with them. And I keep on saying to people, you will be seeing new faces in the squad for March. All right? Just believe that. So you'll be seeing new faces, good faces. The coach has a good strategy. He's starting from the top and then he's going to go his way down. But I keep on telling them Mannings, man, but unseen. But bless up, people. Thank you, everyone. Please hit the like button before you go. Like and share and subscribe. Listen, Coach Minzy and I are bridging, and I told him that I would have lasted for an hour and a half. I've gone past the time. So you see, like those of you who are here now, you have to go over there and say and apologize to Mannings, man, and let him know that the program just finished. All right. So bless you. Have a wonderful rest of the night. I am Mannings, man. Go and check out the last night of the triple treat on the coach's desk. Bless up, and I'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. You know, when it gets to this point, we say we are over and we are OUT out of here.
Yo, watch about dog, SK New Artist, the body out there, Sniper King I represent for I Am Sure Sports. You get to me, I say, when you want the latest news and sports and updates and all of that, check out I Am Sure Sports. You know the thing goes in. Remember, cover the whole island. Remember Kingston, Westmoreland, Galchester, Orchard Race, Galtigo Bay, everywhere. I Am Sure Sports, check it out for the latest news and latest updates. Sniper King I represent. Where them feel like, yeah, someone on for the food from we young, from we day, you need height. I Am Sure Sports. Yeah, dog.